A man driving a chariot stops by a big mansion and enters it. His name is Bola, and he works for the lady of the mansion, named Smriti, our main character. He bears both good and bad news and tells the beautiful lady immediately. He tells Smriti that the good news is that her beloved Jadev, a renowned poet, is alive. However, the bad news is that he is leading a torturous life, drinking himself day and night to try and forget Smriti. It turns out that Jadev has gotten false news that Smriti has passed away. Despite being lovers, the two of them had never met personally. Their love developed through writing letters and poems. Smriti is heartbroken upon hearing this news. Bola convinces her that she should go and meet Jadev, so he becomes aware that she is still alive. It is easier said than done because it turns out that a spirit is trapping Smriti in that estate, so she cannot leave. Bola is very kind and offers a solution. She gives her a mirror he got from a temple, saying it drives away spirits. The mirror is her key to being free from the evil spirit's captivity. That very night, Smriti leaves to go to Jadev. The journey is long, and her coachman, Mr. Badranath, informs her that their way is now very dark and foggy, deeming it unsafe to travel. However, Smriti is adamant to reach her destination as soon as possible. As Badranath is about to continue the journey, they hear a scream from the forest. Badranath checks it, but he doesn't return for a while. Worried, Smriti follows him and sees him slumped on the ground. When he looks up, his eyes are white, and he seems possessed, strangling Smriti. She fights back and breaks the protective mirror in the process. The screen turns black as Smriti's screams are heard. In Jadev's mansion, his sister, Karuna, worries about her heartbroken brother. It has been 2 years since the day he was supposed to finally meet Smriti, but he got the news of her passing instead. Karuna emphasizes that he cannot keep living like this and has to move on. He has everything already, fame and fortune. Despite having everything, Jadev tells her that what he needs is something to live his life with, and he lost that already after losing Smriti. Jadev decides to step outside the house to breathe and think. He sits by a cliff and starts writing his poems. Moments later, he notices an unconscious woman by the shore and immediately runs to rescue her. Upon seeing the stranger, Karuna immediately opposes her brother's decision to take her in, but Jadev decides to help the woman. The housemaid tended to the stranger. Karuna gets the woman's wet clothes from the housemaid to bring to the laundry, and a bracelet suddenly falls off. Karuna seems to have a bad feeling about who the woman is after seeing the bracelet. The stranger is revealed to be none other than Smriti. However, she has lost her memory. When she wakes up, the police interview her to learn about her origins, but she has no recollection at all. Karuna tries to convince her brother to let the woman go, but Jadev doesn't want to, as he feels that the woman is familiar to him and wants to help her get better. They suddenly hear violin playing from a distance, and Jadev searches for the source. It's Smriti playing outside while singing a song whose lyrics are very familiar to Jadev. He cannot help but wonder about who this woman is. He also starts singing along with her. After this, Jadev tells the woman that the words she sang are from his poem. He asks her how he knows his poems, but the woman doesn't know. It's as if those words were just engraved in her heart. That night, in the middle of a graveyard, a limping man observes that something is awry. A crow suddenly flies, and the man takes this as a sign that a spirit has flown out. Jadev is drinking from his room when Smriti suddenly knocks, telling him she is scared after hearing a strange laugh coming from her room. Jadev checks it with her and hears the laughing noise too. They follow the noise and are led outside the house. Jadev assumes that it's just the strong winds blowing, and they get back inside. Despite being closed, the door inexplicably keeps opening. Smriti gets back inside her room and sees a man with a mutilated face. Scared, she knocks on Jadev's door again. To make her feel safe, Jadev lets her sleep in his bed while he takes the couch. As she sleeps, Jadev cannot help but write a poem about this mysterious woman in his head. One day, after a poem reading in town, the man from the graveyard named Bankimal tells him that his house is possessed by an evil spirit. He says that Jadev has to throw out the one he kept in his house. As if he knows about Smriti, he tells Jadev that she brought a restless spirit with her, so she has to go away, or else he will suffer. Jadev ignores the man's warning. That night, he decides to give the name Sangeeta to the woman since they don't know her real name yet. While dining, Sangeeta suddenly chokes and starts coughing out nails. Karuna freaks out, telling Jadev to throw the girl out, reminding him of the man's warning earlier. Sangeeta is embarrassed and scared, thinking about what Karuna said. She runs to the woods, but Jadev follows her. He convinces her to come back and promises to help her. The next day, he brings her to the doctor to examine her. The doctor takes an x-ray and is dumbfounded by his findings. In her x-ray result, a pair of hands seems to be latched onto Sangeeta's neck. He recommends that Jadev take her to a bigger hospital, and recommends another doctor to examine her further. They arrive at a hotel and book separate rooms for the night. As Jadev takes a rest on the hotel's balcony, Sangeeta follows him and starts reciting a poem. Jadev recites a poem back to her. It's as if they are two pieces of one heart, connected and belonging to each other. Their emotions intensify from their unexplainable attraction towards each other, leading to a passionate kiss in Sangeeta's room. However, Before anything more happens, Jadev stops himself, thinking he cannot do this while still grieving from Smriti's loss. If only we can tell him that his beloved Smriti is the same woman right in front of him. That night, Smriti hears someone calling her outside her room, so she gets up. The receptionist tells her that someone came looking for her, saying that he has information about her past and her memories. Hearing this, Smriti immediately runs after the person. She sees him in the woods and approaches. It turns out to be her coachman who got possessed. Upon seeing him, Smriti starts recalling everything that happened to her. She finally has her memory back. It turns out that the night she was leaving her mansion, while escaping the possessed coachman, she accidentally fell into the ocean. This was how she was swept into Jadev's estate. Smriti runs to escape the coachman again, and sees Jadev standing in the hotel's entrance. She runs to him, telling him she finally remembers. However, it turns out that the man she is embracing is the possessed coachman who fooled her. Her screams echo through the surroundings. Jadev gets awakened by her scream and looks for her. When he finds her, she is already possessed. In the next scene, Jadev visits Bankamal's house in the cemetery to ask for his help in saving Smriti. When Bankamal sees Smriti sleeping, he puts perfume on her wrist, and this wakes up the evil inside her. It starts sniffing the perfume crazily and laughs manically. He tells Jadev to bring her where there is sunlight. As soon as the demon gets exposed to the light, it starts freaking out to the point where it destroys the chair it is tied to and hides in the shade. Bankamal expresses that they need to know who the woman is to find out why the spirit has possessed her. Jadev tells him that, unfortunately, she has lost all her memory. Left with no choice, Bankamal decides to ask for help from the spirits in the cemetery. He stands in the middle of the grave, calling out to any spirit there. A spirit responds, and Bankamal puts his ears on its tomb. He tells Jadev that the spirit says the woman has already regained her memory. All that's left is for them to speak to her directly. They get back to Jadev's mansion and wake up the demon. They start calling Sangeeta to fight the demon and talk to them. Sangeeta tries, but the demon is too strong and just laughs at their useless efforts. Then, Sangeeta passes out. The house help sees something in her belly as she is about to cover her. It's the name Fatima. She remembers that she previously asked Sangeeta to help her write a letter to her daughter named Fatima. Jadev asks for the letter in hopes of finding a clue there. As soon as he sees it, he recognizes the handwriting and compares it to one of Smriti's letters. Then, he finally realizes that Sangeeta is his beloved Smriti. To know more about Smriti, Jadev decides to visit her address. He speaks to the owner of the house where Smriti used to live. He discovers that someone impersonating Jadev came 2 years ago and took Smriti. Who could this impersonator be? He also learns that before leaving, the man and Smriti mentioned that they will settle down at Badagav, a small village in the mountains. Then, the woman also mentions that, strangely, someone else came to her days ago to ask about Smriti, and that person was Karuna. This surprises Jadev, as he wonders why Karuna was looking into Smriti's past alone. He comes back home only to find out that Karuna has been missing all day. Then, one of his staff finds something in the woods. What Jadev sees breaks his heart. Karuna has decided to take her own life. The reason is, in the letters she is holding tightly, which she left for her brother. Jadev takes the letter, which will reveal very important details about this story. The screen shows their story from a few years back. Jadev had a best friend named Omar. He is a handsome man himself who exudes charisma that inevitably attracts Karuna. Omar notices her attraction to him and makes moves on her secretly. Their affair deepens, and they start spending intimate time together. After a passionate night, Omar tells Karuna that before he asks Jadev for her hand in marriage, he intends to prove himself first. He explains that he just needs to arrange some money to build his business. Hearing this, Karuna happily gives him a family heirloom bracelet that looks expensive. This could help Omar with his need for money. This bracelet is the same one Karuna found in Smriti's clothes the day Jadev found her. Since she found it, she has always suspected that she is her brother's beloved. One day, Jadev and Omar are discussing his love for Smriti, whom he has never even seen. Omar sees that his best friend is deeply in love with Smriti. Jadev even shows him some of the letters Smriti wrote him. Jadev reveals that they agreed to meet for the first time on Smriti's 19th birthday, as she wants their meeting to be his greatest birthday gift to her. Unbeknownst to them, Karuna is listening to their conversation, and she sees Omar keep one of Smriti's letters. This is the day she realizes Omar does not have good intentions. She confronts Omar, and he reveals that he never really loved Karuna. He also took Smriti's letter to learn Smriti's address. Omar reveals his true colors. It turns out that he has always been jealous of Jadev for having everything and excelling at everything, while he has always had to struggle. Karuna tells him that she will tell her brother about Omar's motive. However, Omar threatens to tell Jadev how his beloved sister has been sneaking into Omar's bed, maligning her family's honor. This was a time when unmarried women who lay with men were considered to be unacceptable, so Karuna decides not to tell her brother. Before she passed, Karuna went to discover the truth. She meets with Bola's wife and is told that they used to work for Omar in his bungalow. One day, Omar instructs Bola to meet Jadev and tell him that Smriti has passed away. Omar finally meets Smriti and shows her the house where he plans to spend his life with her. Smriti is very happy finally meeting her beloved Jadev, but notices something amiss. He never responds when she recites poems to him. And he has never written a single poem after they met either. She realizes that this man is not her Jadev. She tries to escape from Omar, but he catches her and learns about his hatred for Jadev. He wants to own her to hurt Jadev's feelings. Smriti fights back and pushes Omar, causing him to fall and get pierced by a protruding metal in the house, ending his life. Bola sees the whole scene. Driven by his guilt in helping Omar fool Jadev, he promises to help Smriti conceal his demise and hides Omar's body. Back in the present, after holding a funeral for Karuna, Jadev and Bankamal start their plan on saving Smriti from Omar's spirit. They head to Omar's unfinished house with Smriti covered in a cloth to control Omar's spirit in her. Bankamal states that it's the law's nature that one soul cannot be in two bodies. They plan to have Smriti touch Omar's corpse, so his soul can return to his own body, and finally free Smriti. Once Omar is back in his own body, they will burn his corpse, banishing him forever. Bankamal assures Jadev that he has already arranged everything. Unfortunately, the cloth accidentally slips, and the demon gets freed. It snaps a rope, causing the Bankamal and the others to get mutilated. Now, only Jadev is left alive. He composes himself and tries to catch the demon. Omar's spirit just keeps on mocking Jadev, laughing at his sorrow. Jadev tries to catch it to cover it with the cloth again, but he gets attacked, and the cloth gets burned in the process. All hope is slipping away from Jadev, but he doesn't give up even after seeing the demon feast on Bankamal's corpse. It turns out that he managed to salvage a piece of the cloth and tied it in his hand. He then grabs the demon by the neck, dragging it to where Omar's corpse is. The demon overpowers him and stabs his hand. Omar is aware of their plan to burn his body after making his spirit transfer, so he gets a lamp and burns his corpse, preventing Jadev from succeeding. It seems that Jadev has one last card up his sleeve. It turns out that Bankamal has hidden Omar's real body on the roof to fool the demon. Once he sees that the demon is standing right below the roof, Jadev kicks a lever to open it, and Omar's body falls on Smriti. His spirit is finally transferred back to his own corpse, freeing Smriti. All that's left is to burn his corpse. With his last strength, Jadev pulls the axe that's pinning his hand and stabs Omar with it, pushing him into the burning grave. The worst is over. The scene switches to Jadev and Smriti finally reuniting. With his deep love, he recites the poem he has made for his beloved Smriti. In this moment, they finally get to share their passionate love with each other.